Good morning, students. So we are going to resume our classes, and in today's topic we will discuss about the types of neuron and the types of nerves. So types of neuron is based on their structure and the types of nerves is based on their function. So let's start with the class. There are three types of neurons, which are sensory neuron, motor neuron, and the connecting neuron or the association neuron or the interneurons. Inter, it means in between. So let's see what are the functions of sensory neuron, motor neuron, and connecting neuron. So sensory neurons, as you are observing in this diagram, your skin is the sense organ. We have 5 sense organs and skin is one of the sense organ. So the person is touching this object which is spiny. So the sense organ, that is the skin, is getting the impulse, and the sensory neuron present in this sense organ will carry message from the receptor. So this is receptor to the main nervous system. So what is the main nervous system? This is the main nervous system, that is your brain. First, you must understand there are 3 types of nervous system in humans. In case of humans, that is the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is composed of the nerves coming out from the brain and the spinal cords. So there are 12 pair of cranial nerves. The nerves coming out from the brain is known as cranial nerves, and we know that the humans are the most advanced creature, so we are having 12 pair of cranial nerves. And the nerves coming out from the spinal cord, which is enclosed in your vertebral column, such nerves are known as spinal nerves. Okay, so there are 31 pair of spinal nerves and 12 pair of cranial nerves. So altogether these 12 cranial nerves and the 31 spinal nerves forms the peripheral nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is controlled by the endocrine glands. Okay, so we are having 3 types of nervous system, that is central nervous system composed of brain and the spinal cord, peripheral nervous system is composed of the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves, and the autonomic nervous system, which we will discuss about that in the endocrinal chapter. So the sensory neurons will convey the impulse from the receptor to the brain or to the spinal cord. Then what is the motor neuron? The motor neuron, as the arrow is denoting over here, the motor neuron will carry the impulse from the main nervous system, that is your brain or the spinal cord. Central nervous system is also known as main nervous system. So brain and spinal cord is the main nervous system or the central nervous system. So these motor neurons will carry the message or the nerve impulse from the brain to the receptor organ. Okay, so this receptor or the effector organ may be the muscle or the gland. Then what about the interneuron or the association neuron or the connecting neuron? These neurons are located in the brain or in the spinal cord, which is connecting. You are observing this blue colored part. So this is connecting the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. Now we will see about the nerves. So nerves are the organs that make up the peripheral nervous system. We have just now discussed what is peripheral nervous system. the peripheral nervous system is composed of the cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. It consists of a cord-like structure. Cord, a bundle of wires is known as cord in simple terms. So it is a cord-like structure. Just see in this diagram, like the wires, a bundle of wires is there. So it is a cord-like structure with multiple nerve fibers. And what are these nerve fibers here? That is the axons. So from the standard 8 you are studying about the nerve is the bundle of axon, or bundle of axon is known as nerve. So a collection of nerves is there. So it consists of multiple nerves. It means so many nerves, or collection of axons also, which is wrapped in a layer of tissue and fat. You are observing there is connective tissue, like the blood vessels is there, and this is enclosed in a layer of fat. Now, what are the types of nerves? There are 3 types of nerves in the human body, which is classified on the basis of their function. What are the 3 types of nerves? That is the sensory nerves, the motor nerves, and the mixed nerves. Now what about the sensory nerves? Sensory nerves are the nerves which sends the message to the brain or the spinal cord from the sense organ. For example, optic nerve. So as the term is suggesting, it is related to eye. So optic nerve will arise from the eye and will end in the brain. Then what about, these are enclosed in the form of bundle-like structure or nerve fiber in the peripheral nervous system, and they carry the information from the PNS, that is the peripheral nervous system, to the CNS, that is the central nervous system. And the parts of central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. Now what are motor nerves? Motor nerves are those nerves which carry the message or the nerve impulse in the form of a response from the brain or the spinal cord to the parts of the body such as the muscles or the glands. So simply we can say they carry the information from the CNS to the PNS, that is central nervous system, to the peripheral nervous system. Then the mixed nerves. So mixed nerves are the nerves which perform both the action of sensory as well as motor. So as the term is suggesting, mixed. So it will perform the sensory function as well as the motor function, and they transform the electrical impulse from the central nervous system to the muscle of the body. Here, when you touch any hot object and the reflex action is shown within a fraction of seconds, and the reason such a quick response you are observing here, the impulse is transmitted at the rate of 120 meter per second or 432 kilometers per hour. So that is why our reflex actions are very quick, which are performed within a fraction of seconds, because these mixed nerves are transmitting the nerve impulse at the rate of 120 meter per second. So this is all for today. Now you must also know about ganglia. So ganglia is found in the lower group of organisms. So a collection of nerve cells, and the nerve cell is having 3 basic parts, that is the axon, dendron and cyton. So collection of cyton is known as ganglion. Okay. So in lower group of organisms we find ganglion. Now your today's homework, you have to write down the 3 types of neurons with their function. Then what are the 3 types of nerves? No, first find nerves and then write down the 3 types of nerves. Draw this diagram and write down the function of sensory nerve, motor nerve